when you called, were you leaving voicemails? Like, how would you, or did you just keep trying them, and like every other day? And tell me more about that, and how you balance that follow up without driving your, stuff crazy.
Okay, great question. So that every person that I'm emailing, sending a text, leaving a voicemail, and calling will be dependent on how hot of a lead it is for me. If it's a lead like that in the first conversation, I received, such positive feedback. We spoke for 10, 20 minutes about a really, like, they're asking the right questions, what's the square footage? How much is a TI going to be? Is it triple net, etc.? Those kind of right questions. And then they ghost me. I'm going to be texting them every 2, 3 days, emailing every 4 or 5 days, leaving a voice, using all of those tools as much as possible. If it's a kind of cold lead, I will always try to send email, send text, leave voicemail. I do those three things after, obviously, the phone call, regardless of anything, regardless of the cold lead or not. If I get a response or feedback from the business owner, from the potential tenant, that's what makes me make a whole cadence for myself. Make like I have a list here of specific leads that I email every 3 days, and then 4 days later I send another email, and then I'm texting the person, if I have his number, once every 3 days in between, while of course every few days I'm calling the person. So as much as possible to phone call, number one, best. Texting if you're able to get through to their cell, number two. And then email and voice. I've seen more people respond to emails and than leaving voicemails, but also some positive feedback from leaving voicemails as well. So that those are the four tools essentially I'm using and consistently hitting back as much as possible whenever.
Got it. And last follow up question on that is, in the text message itself, is it, hey Joseph, just following up with you? Are you sending like, is the pin on which text message it is? Is it really pretty, kind of short and sweet every time? What do you find in those follow up message? What's the right kind of information to put in there? How short or long, or I'm curious, or is it mostly just kind of staying tip of mind for them?
Always short, always short to the point when it comes to text. When it's an email as well, I try to keep it short, minimum to a few lines. I've noticed business owners I was in touch with, big corporate people from Arby's, from Sonic, from Dunkin' Donuts, from Jimmy John's, these people, and both speaking to them on the phone, I get, using a couple of different platforms to get to their phone number as well as their email address. I find that it's everybody prefers short to the point. You send a whole brochure of, like 4 to 6 paragraphs and 5 different attachments. It doesn't matter if you're the president of Starbucks or you're a single run mom and pop. Nobody likes that. Straight to the point. You make it sound like you're a human being. That's why it's always a great idea to try to make some sort of bond, some sort of personal information, something that you could go back to in the next text. So I would have a client, a potential tenant who wouldn't respond to a text or wouldn't respond to a phone call, both. And then a week later, after I send them a text, I'd be like, "Hey, I wanted to tell you about something super cool that happened. That some guy last week or two, he was telling me we were talking about going on honeymoon. I was planning on going on a honeymoon with my wife that I just got married to, and he mentioned me. Oh, you should maybe go to Marco Island, here. And that's and a week later, he didn't answer my phone call, text, email. The only thing I responded to, the only text I sent him was, "Hey, I have something funny for you. You're gonna love." I was on the phone with my mother-in-law. This is a true story that happened. I was on the phone with my mother-in-law, and she was like, "Maybe you guys should go to Marco Island for your honeymoon." And I told him that story, and he sends me back like, "Ha ha ha, lol, that's hilarious." And then right after that, he himself shoots back with, "Sorry, I've been so busy with et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's have a conversation tomorrow sometime about what we were talking about."
Wow. I want to pause for a second because everybody listening, you are listening to, I don't know if anybody's a rap music fan, and you are listening to a master at work. That was fire, dude. Like, I think that what's so crazy about that is, one, just how organized you are and making sure to follow up. You said that earlier in the conversation, right? Follow up is everything. But I think that you really have mastered the art of staying in touch with them while also making it relevant. I mean, that is amazing. And congrats on the marriage as well.